Deep in the Ovens Valley is the town of Bright. Within the town of Bright was once the Bright Rail Line, part of the many former Alpine railways. In today's video, we will be covering the Bright Line's history, closure, rolling stock, services, where it is today, and will services resume. History/closure. The Bright Line was built by Victorian Railways as a branch off the Beechworth Line to Merleford in 1883. It branched off the North East Line at Bowser, near Wangaratta. It was extended to Bright in 1890. At the time, Bright was a small mining town with a mostly Chinese population. The Bright Line had light traffic for most of its lifespan, carrying goods, hops, tobacco, and the occasional tourist to Mount Buffalo. There were 11 stations built at various towns along the line. Many of the station platforms and towns survive today. Looking at the grade book of the line from 1883, you can see the steepest gradient on the line are some 1 in 40 gradients in between Brookfield and Merleford. From there, the line slowly increases until reaching the line's terminus at Bright. The sharpest curve, however, is a radius 15 in between Bowman and Gapstead. Scheduled passenger services ceased in 1978, closing all stations. After a decline in its already limited usage, the line closed from Bright to Merleford in 1983. The final nail in the coffin for the line was the Bland Report in the early 70s, which closed the line from Merleford to Bowser on 13th of April 1987. In 1980, Steam Rail Victoria gave the Bright Line one final hurrah before closure. A passenger service to Bright, hauled by locomotive K153. Due to poor track condition, the passenger service had to be cut short, terminating at Popanka. In 1990, 3 years after closure, the line was given a different purpose. Like most lines in Victoria, the land was repurposed into a rail trail. It stretches 116 kilometers throughout the region. Bright Railway Station, which has the only surviving building, was repurposed and transformed into a time machine filled with antiques and items from Bright's history. The rail yard is now the Bright Railway Museum, home to carriages and goods wagons which were once used on the Ovens Valley lines. Rolling stock. Like most niche branch lines in Victoria, the Bright Line uses your average stock standard K-class steam locomotive pre-dieselization and your stock standard T-class post-dieselization. Most of the carriages and wagons at the Bright Railway Museum were used on the line as well. Services. For most of the Bright Line's life, mixed trains would run, meaning trains would carry both passengers and goods. Trains ran twice a day, 6 days a week, excluding Sundays. The timetable was mostly the same for every day, except on Fridays and Mondays, or sometimes Tuesdays and Fridays, or Mondays and Saturdays. Trains were also not allowed to be double-headed in some parts, as I presume this rule was put in place as there are sharp curves and poorly maintained bridges on the line. Where is the line today? Today, the line is part of the Murray to Mountains Rail Trail. A lot of the bridges are still in use, although they might not be able to hold an engine anymore. Out of the 11 railway stations which were once on the line, 4 railway stations are completely gone, 4 railway stations have new signage, 2 railway stations still have their platform, and 1 station that remains completely intact, that railway station being the terminus. There might also be a couple of mile markers or other pieces of evidence along the trail, but I haven't confirmed that yet. Wheel services resume. Like the Orwas line, the Bright Line is unlikely to reopen, as the government won't get rid of a rail trail, which brings a lot of tourists to the area, for a rail line to a couple of towns with a low population. And to bring back the rail line to Bright, you would also have to rebuild all of the signals, stations, track, rob some people of their front lawns, and rebuild level crossings. Bright would also lose its railway museum, but most of the carriages there would probably be transferred to Seymour or Newport. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you liked this video about the Bright Line. History on the railway stations will never be uploaded as a short. I am lying to you all. If you have any suggestions on what line I should do next, then leave a comment below. If not, I'll see you later.